AskReddit by PRTSCR1. What's the impact of Trump being removed from ballot in Maine and Colorado? Will cause the Supreme Court to take up case more quickly. The Supreme Court can still duck it entirely, or worse, say it's an issue for the electorate and undo the state Supreme Courts. But the more states that do it, the more pressure is on them. And the more states that pass it, the more will sue. Lawsuits on the docket. The answer to this is pending a decision by the US Supreme Court. If the SC upholds these decisions, Maine, it wouldn't matter, as he wouldn't win that state anyway. Colorado may matter more. But if the SC upholds the decision, that established precedent for him to be removed from the ballot in many other states. Doesn't Maine split their electoral votes? 1. It will be exploited by both sides for fundraising. 2. The Supreme Court will overturn Maine and Colorado. 3. Then that will be exploited for fundraising. 4. Everyone will go on hating each other and everyone will lose. That's the playbook. Let's just get a law that says no one over the age of 75 can run. 2 birds, 1 stone. I would say make it the same as the military, and that is 62. We enter an endless cycle of every president getting an impeachment trial, and every election opposition tries to remove the other guy from qualifying. Same as Lincoln. Here comes the Reddit constitutional scholars, equipped with Google and their little handbook of insults in case anyone debates them. This reminds me of when Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid in 2013 went with the nuclear option to lower the threshold for appointees to 51 votes and not 60. This gave Mitch McConnell precedent to go with a nuclear option to lower the threshold for Supreme Court nominees, and bada bing bada boom, Amy Coney Barrett. To summarize, should this removal stand, I can imagine it setting precedent to be used again in the future against Democrats. Edit, as others have said, Section 3 also says in addition, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. I think this is an even squirrelier section. For example, I don't think it would be impossible for someone to make an argument that the Iran deal was giving aid comfort to enemies. OMG, finally, someone else who is thinking this. I just left a comment about the nuclear option a few minutes ago. People have such a short memory. I'm waiting for Republican states to start trying to take Biden off their ballot because, you know, reasons. Alaska wants to take Trump off, so that's something. I heard this makes it easier for other states to do the same, or at least after whatever court case kicked this thing off. Something to do with the state AG now able to do it themselves because that is the procedure. Or at least ballots need approved by the AG, and now they can cite a reason not to. Something like that, I have no idea. Ianal. More or less they can cite the other state doing so as a reason for them doing so. The states have to give full credit to other states' legal decisions, so since CO courts ruled Trump was invalid, other states can follow along. Not taking a political stance here, but I am looking forward for the SC to take up this issue and rule on it. We need this sort of due process play out for the benefit of future generations. The SC has to strike this down. You can't allow this when it could be just as well used on Dems. There's nothing stopping them if this goes through. It sets a dangerous precedence. Look at 1860s and find out, the removal of Lincoln from the ballot was a spark. The impact is setting a dangerous precedent for future elections. It also in itself undermines the election process. Pretty easy to win an election when you remove the opponent. A whole lot of lawyers are dancing with glee. Everyone is going to love this up until the moment that a swing state with a reliably Republican Supreme Court and/or Secretary of State uses this tactic to keep Biden off the ballot. And then everyone is going to lose their minds. Regardless of how people view Trump, he has not been found guilty in an actual trial, and we should all be fearful of courts that deny due process like this. If they can do this to him, they will do it to you and I. This is something you'd see in either a banana republic, totalitarian or fascist regime. I think the SCOTUS will avoid the big issue that is defining insurrection and find some sort of due process deficiency to throw out Maine's decisions. The more states that do it, the odds that one of them does it right increases, and forces SCOTUS to weigh the merits. Red states will say Biden is given a door comfort to enemies, which in their eyes could be illegal immigrants with the open border policy, and take him off the ballot. 2024 is gonna be a disaster and will set precedent for future elections. If it's upheld, it's a set example for other states. Other states might follow. And then other states can kick Democrats off the ballot. Do you see the issue? IDK, what do you think the ramifications of normalizing the removal of candidate entries are? Nothing good. Imagine entering the voting booth and there's only one entry and no write-ins. That's the potential this precedent sets. Edit. Grammar. Trying to force the whole state vote Democrat isn't going to bring more votes. Trump supporters just won't vote. None. Supreme Court will be 9-0 saying he stays on all ballots. Yes, as much as I don't like Trump, this is the actual outcome of this whole thing. Dems could have run a good candidate if they wanted to best Trump easily. The Supreme Court overturns it, Trump's base gets stronger, and more blue-collar Midwest Democrats vote red in 2024. Either convict the guy and then do something, or beat him at the polls, which shouldn't be that difficult, but somehow the left is making it hard. Everything else is a horrible look for Dems. Same as when they removed Lincoln from the ballot of 10 states.